All righty. Hello, hello, hello. All righty.
I'll never happen. Oh no. It's just so tragic. Emergency communication.
What up, Suave? Suave. What up, Goat? Sorry, we just had some visitors with us. I think they were drunk eats looking for some place to eat their pizza. Suave, happy to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 13 of Navigating the Noise. Life is a gamble. Life is a gamble. That it is. That it is. Anyone else join us? Say what's up. Say hello in the chat. Got some great news to share with y'all in a little bit. We live? We are live. Yes, we are live. Let people rolling on in. How do I? There we go here. Pull this shit up. Got some viewers here. What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. X-Man in the chat. What up, X? Zachy Z. What up, X? How we living? Here. Y'all, I got some fantastic news to share with y'all today. Some great news. Fantastic news. Some cool stuff. Sorry, I'm just getting all these email notifications popping up on my my computer. Yo, Frank, you in the chat, bro? Frank, you here? I'm sorry, bro, for posting that picture of the horse on Instagram, dude. It's a compliment, bro. That's all I'm saying. I don't know why you got mad at me, but it is what it is. So, that's a bad look. Getting the Blue Chew support emails popping up in the email box, it's not a good look. That was like years ago, though, when we were going through a phase, you know. Thanks for you guys to be here. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Gallo and Dan C. What up? What up? All righty, what do we got here? All right, cool beans. So, welcome back, everyone, to episode, like I said, 13. Lucky number 13. Shout out Alex Rodriguez. Should be in the Hall of Fame. But episode 13, we've came a long way since October 7th from when we launched. Feeling blessed, feeling grateful, especially grateful because today we experienced some really great things and we partook in some events that led us to some great happy thoughts. So let's get right into it. So, wow, where do I begin? I got a job, everyone. I got a fucking job. Yeah. No more unemployed Zach. It's employed Zach now. Interviewed today. So obviously, as I was keeping you guys updated over the next, as I was saying, I was going to keep you guys updated over the next couple of Suave. Yes, sir. Love you, brother. Yeah, X-Men, make that money, 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 shmoney. Nah, man, I was extremely humbled and extremely grateful, man. So I've been interviewing over the last couple of weeks. You know, we've been popping and rolling, returning phone calls, getting back to emails. Yo, Kyle! Kyle, what up, Kyle? First time in the chat. Kyle, happy to have you here, man. Good shit, brother. I know you've been tuning in on YouTube. Ah, Kyle, hell yeah, man. Shout out Massapequa. We got some Massapequa Chiefs in the chat. Chiefs in the chat. Stand up. Yeah. Hell yeah, Kyle. Thanks for being here, man. Navigating some noise with us, brother. Fuck yeah, dude. Always nice having some new people join us, man. It means that the mission's working, man. We're just trying to help others navigate some noise, man. Life's fucking cold, bro. Kyle, thank you, man, for being here, brother. Seriously. But yeah, we got the job, man. We've been grinding away the last couple weeks. For those of you who've been close with me, who have been hooting and hollering and hitting my line. We've been interviewing some teaching gigs, some gigs that have to do with addiction, mental health, autism, things of that nature. And one of these companies decided to take a good old shot on Zachy Z. So Mosaic Pediatric Therapy, which I looked up on Glassdoor, actually a pretty great, dope ass company to work for. So I'm super excited for that. And the people there were really super, extremely nice when I went in there today, and even on my first interview and whatnot. But yeah, rock on. Like, no joke, literally. I don't know where to begin. The first interview went great. I knew I crushed it, and I was like, yo, we got to keep on keeping on. Got to stay humble, though, throughout this whole process. Because, like I said, I could sit here and act like this big old fucking tough guy and be like, life is great. Yeah, life is great. But I got to make sure I sit up showing the fucking rolls on the screen. God damn, that's a bad look. Why didn't anyone in the chat be like, yo, Zachy, pull up, bro. The shirt doesn't look good. Showing a lot there, big fella. Not one person, man. Fuck. X-Men, I was expecting you to at least give me something, dude. God damn, man. But, Suave, you liked it? You liked when I was showing that much loving? Listen, I was going to take my shirt off on the episode when Big Mike was co-hosting, but he was like, nah, dude, I'm going to walk off screen if you take your shirt off. Listen, bro, I got a lot of hamburger meat under this shirt, brother. Dude, I haven't taken a razor to this thing, bro, since like 2019, Ocean City, Maryland, bro. So, hey, listen, if you want, maybe at the end of the episode, we'll take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. But nah, first interview went well with Mosaic Pediatric Therapy, and I had a really great feeling. You know, I've just been like following the whole signs, and I've just been following like trusting the process. Literally, I know it sounds corny, but like trusting the process, and got good vibes. And then it's funny, like the link to schedule the final interview with the clinical director wasn't working. I'm like, yo, am I getting dicked around? Like I've been dicked around before in life. You know what I mean? Like a lot, and it felt like a dicking. And then I was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to stay optimistic. And they finally got back to me at the end of last week to schedule the final interview. And just counted my blessings. I took it easy this weekend. I was a little quiet on the socials this weekend because I was going through it too, man. Like, I'm a human being. Like, that's the whole purpose of this podcast is to, like, let people know that, like, it's not always going to be sunshines and rainbows. And I think that was, like, what I posted on the Navigating the Noise page the other day. Was it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. And one of the reasons why I wanted to make this stream and make this podcast is to let people know that like you can be a normal person and be a professional adult in society and feel not okay. Like that's totally normal. You're a human damn being. So just rock on. So I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of went through a little bit of that this weekend, like a little bit of the job uncertainty. And I spoke about it on prior episodes. Past episodes, like the fear of the unknown. Like all my boys went to the Carolina Panthers game this weekend. Fucking crazy ass game, by the way. I almost thought they fucking pulled that shit off. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like was half asleep for part of it because like a little bit of FOMO kicked in and I was like hearing the roar from the stadium. And I was like, fuck, man, I'm broke as hell right now. So it's like a humbling feeling when you're going through crisis, but then you just like remember you got to keep your head where your feet are at. And no joke, like shout out Carolina Panthers, Bryce Youngin, the young goat, the young buck, almost pulled that shit off, dude. But it was a weird weekend. Like, I'll be real with you. I don't know if you guys noticed. You're probably like, Zach's a little quieter on the damn socials. Yeah, Zach was a little quieter on the socials, yo, because his head was going through it. I was navigating noise just like you, Swab, or just like you, Kyle, or just like you, X-Men, or just like you, Donnie. And I know I love you, Donnie. I know Donnie won't be with us tonight. I know he's on patrol. Hope Donnie stays safe out there tonight, my guy, in the concrete jungle of New York. But it was a weird-ass weekend. Talked about it with my boy Mike the other day. I was like, bro, like I felt funky as hell, man. Shit felt weird. But we prevailed, and you guys are gonna laugh. So still figuring out the whole bank account fiasco. I wasn't kidding. Like I'm broke as hell. And like I don't want no donations. I don't want no fucking Venmos, honestly. I just want y'all, if you're gonna hit me up, to just check in with me. Just be like, yo, what up, Big Z? How we living? How's the weather down in Charlotte? You know, how's the Hinge profile looking? Like, you know, what'd you rip at the gym today? Back and buys. Like, I don't need your money or whatnot, but like I'm broke as hell. So I couldn't even Uber to the job. So I got my first taste of public transit, you know, on the Charlotte Light Rail. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Charlotte Light Rail, but that was like uh, we all know how the Hinge profile is looking. You know what? Usually I would like be like, ha ha ha, like that's a really great joke and whatnot. But like it's coming from the swamp, bro. And like, listen, it's not like an Oneonta College story, but like, I don't know if you recall, Swam, but we did a couple polls on the Oneonta nightlife where the ladies said that I was way better looking than you. But don't get me started, bro. Like, we could have Judge next week when Judge comes on, brother. Like, we'll have him, you know, confirm this fact, bro. Bro, get the out of here, brother. Like, you listen. I'm very happy for you. You know, you got the job and you got the beautiful dog and you got the fiance. Show us what the Swami looks like. Swami. The Swam is not he's a good dude, but he's not good looking. Like he's a genuinely good dude, like genuinely like great people, but like not really like a Casanova looking wise. Let us vote, bro. Honestly, that might have to be an episode, bro. Let the fans vote. Throw it back, Aaron, for old time's sake. That's funny as hell, bro. Ah, oh, that's great, man. That's some good shit, yo. That's some fucking jokes, bro. That's some jokes. I think I look decent now, man. Like I ain't gonna lie to you, the stash creeped me out a little bit. Like I know it takes like a confident man to rock a stash, and I was like repping that shit for a while. But I ain't gonna lie to you, I got like a weird look, like a side look in the mirror the other day. So I am kind of grateful that this shit's growing back. I don't have the body type to rock the stash. Like I want to be down a couple more lbs before I really, you know, deploy the mustache. Might have to be like a May June thing. You know, you got him on. So. But yeah, no. So I didn't have money to go pay for an Uber. So I also didn't have dress shoes to wear for the interview. So I had to have my boy fucking Big Mike always coming through in the dang clutch. We're going food shopping tonight. So shout out Big Mike for that. We're gonna rip up Target, probably a little Target. Gonna go get myself some Big Mac meals. So like those little bowl meals. Yeah. But Big Mike gave me his pair of shoes, but they were a little tight. So I kind of like fucked my whole ankle up, but I was like, yo, grind don't stop. I got to go get this gig. So I took like a 15-minute walk to the light rail train station, but the light rail is the train that was in the news, unfortunately. Like, what was it? I think it was like months ago now for like, unfortunately, that woman who got stabbed by like that dude on the train, and then like no one on the train was doing anything about it. Yeah, that was that light rail. So I was walking in, and I'm like, what the hell war zone am I walking into? And then I was like, I'm from New York City, and I've rode the L train from downtown Brooklyn into downtown Manhattan. Like that shit's a fucking circus. So like, I'll survive. And like, of course, like the woman passing away was a tragedy, and like, there should be no reason why like anyone should ride fucking public transit and be not safe for their life. But that's like a conversation for another day. But we got on the light rail, put on some freaking alternative rock, a little Green Day, little Fallout Boy, and just got in the zone. And then, like, I'm not here to complain, and I'm not here to bitch, and I'm not here to moan, but I had to walk a mile and a half to go get to the place, the pediatric therapy place, and it was a humbling experience, like walking on the side of a highway, wearing like dress shoes that are squeezing up against your motherfucking toes, and you could hear Jesus Christ, you could feel your heel bleeding, and cars are honking by you, and I'm wearing if y'all saw on the gram, I'm wearing a damn shirt and tie with like a little green sweater over the top. And I'm dripping bald sweat. And I'm just like, good God, like this first impressions mean everything. Like I'm gonna pull up to this place dripping sweat like I just ran a marathon. They're gonna think I'm on drugs, like which I am, marijuana. Shout out Mary Jane. Big for the mental health. We're gonna do an episode on that. But they're like, oh, this guy's all fucked up. And I'm like, oh man. So it was a humbling experience. Like it was humbling as hell. Like it reminded me a little bit of like the Mania in a weird way when I was like walking up and down like Sunrise Highway. But I was in a way better position this time, and I had people hitting me up being like, yo, you're gonna crush this job shit. And obviously I didn't want to tell everyone like the specifics and details because it's not everyone's business. But I did want to keep y'all updated. And listen, if I didn't get the job, I was gonna come on here and be straight up with y'all and tell you guys I didn't get the job and say fuck it. You know, I didn't get it. But I showed up, and you guys are gonna laugh. Like when you plug in the GPS on the walking thing, it brought me to the back loading yard where I guess maybe they deliver. I don't even know. Like it didn't even look like a shipping yard because there wouldn't be like a shipping platform. Like it brought me like to the back of the facility where it looked like a smoking section and a couple like back facility warehouse type doors. And I'm just like, am I getting rickrolled right now? And you know, I didn't leave myself really too much time, and due to like getting the train schedule, so it's like 2:22, and the interview was at 2:30, and I'm just like, fuck. I'm like, you know what? Let me just do the logical damn thing, Zach. Like, wake the hell up. And I walk into the front, and then there was that big sign, Mosaic Pediatric Therapy, and um, walked in, and I'm wiping sweat, like fuck. Like for y'all who played sports with me ever, or for like, you know, anyone who's had the gracious experience of being a roommate of mine, whether that's been in college or that's been like, you know, one of my brothers growing up, like I do sweat a lot. Like I sweat when I read, I sweat when I sleep sometimes. So of course, when I am about to go into a job interview, dressed up in a suit, or not in a suit, but shirt and tie, pants, 60-degree Charlotte weather, I'm dripping sweat. And it was not a pretty sight. Like the receptionist was probably like, "Ooh, here we go." But the moment that I walked into the back and interviewed with this lovely young lady, like the sparks flew, as in like this could be a place where I could work. And essentially what I'm going to be doing at this place is I'm going to be working as an aide for children and young adolescents with autism. And due to like my education background and training, of course, like this company sought out me, you know, maybe in the initial interview, but then a lot of their follow-up questions in the interview today were focused on like my experience with autism and how might I interact and relate to certain circumstances and situations that involve individuals with autism and high intensity type circumstances. And for those of y'all who are close with me, and it's a little sentimental to my heart, but my best friend, my homie Jake, who I have three younger brothers, he's the one who I don't talk about and mention as much because he grew up a little differently than me, Dalton, and Garrett. He grew up fully autistic, nonverbal. And I actually wrote my college essay about him and how he was my best friend. And it wasn't always easy being the older brother, but especially being the older brother of three younger brothers who were all super close in age, and one of them being fully autistic, nonverbal. There were a lot of social situations and circumstances where I had to stick up for him, and I had to be the legitimate older brother. You know, there's that Nate Diaz. I don't know if there's any fucking UFC fighters in the chat or any UFC fighters that are gonna watch the stream back, but there's like that interviewer that asked Nate Diaz. They were like, "Yo, Nate, you ever get bullied or picked on as a kid?" And he was kind of like laughing it off, and he's like, "Ha ha ha." He's like, "Nah, man, what? I had an older brother." And like Dalton and Gat were tough ass cookies. Like they could hold their own, but like, nah, we were in certain social circumstances or out to eat in restaurants or like out, at the beach. And Jake, who still wasn't fully socially acclimated, would put himself and me, and I love every fucking second of it, in some very interesting circumstances and situations where I've had to throw a couple elbows and I've had to say some choice words to some not so nice people and tell people to screw off and F off. And I just have a passion for autism and autism awareness. So when this job opportunity came up as like an aide for adolescents with autism at this facility, I was like, oh, hell yeah. So a lot of those interview questions are based off that. And I just felt like a spark and a connection just in your stomach when you know like that something is going right and you feel like that it's a certain type of way. Like, absolutely. Like, it was a go. So much so that 40 minutes into the interview, my questions were like, what is a typical day like? And then what do next steps look like? They actually offered the job interview or the job offer on the spot. And I sat there ear to ear like a fucking kid on Christmas morning waiting for a new present, like a fucking pack of Rock'em Sock'em robots. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I'll accept. And I still think I'm in shock, to be honest. It hasn't really fully hit me yet because, like, the Friday before Thanksgiving was the day that I was displaced. And then the Wednesday um, after that, you know, I put in the 2 weeks for my job and I was, not working. So it's been a long journey. And for those of you who stayed like in serious contact and touch with me, you knew Zachy Z was gonna be all right. You know he gonna be all right. But there were definitely doubters out there, and there were definitely people out there who were rooting for me to fail and like, sorry, that ain't gonna happen. So you can keep on waiting on that shit. But like there were moments where it was a little doom and gloom, but like this is gonna suck in a way, but I'm so blessed in a way. Like I already hit a rock bottom where I know what I need to do to make sure I don't get back there. So a lot of people might be like, this dude really picked up with 4 bags and went down to Charlotte, North Carolina with no job. Hell yeah, because I had a gut feeling. And that kind of has to do with the whole purpose of today's episode, which is, life's a gamble, you know. And for those of you who know my gambling history, I'm going to talk a little bit about it, in the remaining like 35 minutes we have. But my gambling history and my gambling mindset helped in a weird functioning way give me um, the confidence in a sick, twisted way to go for this. Just for like privacy purposes and whatnot. Like, I'm not going to use all the names that got me into like sports gambling and to like some of the bookies I owe money because there's definitely some bookies who are still out there looking for me. So if they find this Twitch channel, y'all might have to help me navigate that noise. And on a serious note, I do plan on making amends to anybody and anyone who I do owe money to and anything of that sort in due time, though, when I can handle it emotionally and financially. But I didn't know what gambling was until I was 19 years old. And I got involved with some friends up in Oneonta, and they're not bad people, but we got into some bad things, and some of those bad things involved gambling. And I'll talk more about the war stories about gambling a little bit at like the end because I think maybe some people would enjoy some laughs about some of the circumstances I got. But I've always been competitive, and so whenever I got into gambling, um, I was hooked immediately, and I have like an addictive personality. And I've talked to some people who are in the field who don't, like are very well versed in addiction and mental health, and they don't think I'm an addict. Like they said word for word, but I will be the first one to admit I have heavily addictive personalities, and uh, I'm sorry, heavy addictive personality, but heavy addictive tendencies. And I'm very competitive. So the moment I got hooked on gambling, I just became a big better. Not just betting on sports, but just wagering money in general because I love to win and I love to be competitive. And listen, I've got my ass kicked with gambling, man. And I don't want to like talk too much about the horrors because I do have like a cool episode and podcast stream plan where I have a guest coming on where we're going to talk a little bit more about the ins and outs of gambling and the whole industry and what it can do to the psyche and the mental. And I'm super excited for that. But I've seen some dark days because of like the whole gambling betting mindset. And am I like completely GA clean, as in like I haven't bet at all in the past 5, 6 years? No, absolutely not. Like I literally just finished like a picks pool, NFL, like I'm in playoff pool. But with the knowledge of my mental health and with my life circumstances, I now know that um, I can't gamble because I'm going to lose control and I'm going to lose my cool. But back then, I didn't have any control, and I lost my cool quite regularly with gambling, as in like owing one bookie a couple $1,000s and getting a book with another account. And for those of you who don't know how gambling works, a bookie is just essentially the head guy that pays you when you win and you pay him when you lose. But there's all these casinos that exist and all these lights on in Atlantic City and Vegas and Reno because we all lose. We're all fucking losers on the sports table and the sports books. And anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. But over the years, I kept that competitive edge and like, I don't want to say betting mindset, but just that mindset where like, if you feel like you have a certain edge on something or you're competitive in a certain avenue of your life, whether that's professionally, um, monetarily, socially, in a relationship, on Hinge, Aaron, go bet on yourself. That's what I did. So, like, part of my rock bottom involved like me being such a fucking bad gambler and having such bad impulse control. So, in a weird, sick, twisted way, when I came down to Charlotte, North Carolina, and everyone was in their right mind is probably thinking like Zach ain't in his damn right mind because he's really taking this ridiculous bet. Uh, my whole life, I've been betting on others, not just for my happiness, but like obviously on the sports book and like on Peyton Manning, at his tail end of college and Drew Brees and the college basketball March Madness. Like, yeah, I'll bet on that. But all throughout life, I was betting on other individuals to provide myself happiness. The whole entirety of my 20s, honestly. My whole 20s, I've just been wagering on the actions of others to determine my happiness and my good feelings. And enough of that. Like, that's kind of why I titled today's episode Life is a Gamble. Because I was like, I'm not relying on other people to control my happiness no more. And I legitimately bet on myself. And like I retweeted or I posted this on my story the other day. And it was like this guy, I forgot his name, and I want to give him credit because I don't want you guys to think like I'm like a modern day Confucius or, Renaissance man or modern day philosopher. But this guy, and I reposted on my story, and it was just like, it was like, why are we running like crazy and chasing our wildest dreams with like the utmost urgency and just get after it type mindset? Like, we only got one damn life. Like, life is a gamble. Like, think about it. Every single decision that you make in life, you are gambling on yourself. Every single one. If you're a teacher, whatever you say to that student in homeroom, like you're making a decision. A decision is kind of like a gamble, no? Because sometimes if you say the wrong thing, there might be a consequence or a positive positive consequences, positive consequence, negative consequence. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Like life's a gamble. So for those of you who are like, what the fuck is he doing? No, what are you doing? Respectfully, yo, what are you doing? Because I know that there are people like, and I'm so blessed for like, all the support and the love that we've gotten thus far on the pod and the show. Um, and like I said, we range from like, I don't know, a dozen to 20, 25 live viewers, depending on the show. And then the YouTubes, depending on availability and how much I'm able to advertise it, get, another couple more dozen, a couple hundred, in our past videos. But the point being is like, I know there's at least one person who's watched me in the past couple months who can resonate with the whole, like, they're not gambling on themselves and they're not betting on themselves. They're just kind of going through the motions. What's the damn point of going through the motions? You only have one damn life. So bet on yourself. Go for it. Life is a gamble. It's a gamble, yo. Like, what the hell's stopping you? Like, leave that job. Leave that relationship. Leave that neighborhood that you don't like living in. Like, if the fucking neighbors, like kids, are so loud and they're putting holes in your fence, all right, then, and like the neighborhood watch ain't doing anything, you file the police report, shit ain't hitting the fan, you don't like where your life's at with you and your family, go, leave, pick up. You only got one life. I don't know if that was the best example. I started to like start rambling with that example, and I was like, fuck, that kind of didn't come off the way I wanted to. That didn't slap the way I wanted it to. Reflecting is key in life. That didn't slap like I wanted it to. Shit, man. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Like it was like you see all those like corny ass like videos online of like the person like, I quit my job at working at IHOP. I'm done with this. I hate the management. Good. I'm gonna go follow my dream working as an artist. Good, Pablo Picasso. Go for it. Hmm? This is the happiest I've been in months. It is the freest I've been in months. No funny shit. No funny shit. This is the freest, the happiest, the most electric that I have felt as an individual in quite some time. And life is nowhere near perfect, but there is for sure damn light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what I want anyone who's watching or anyone who's viewing or anyone who is attempting to show support and maybe resonate with anything that I'm saying. I don't want no one's pity. I don't want no one's, oh my God, Zach, congratulations. No, 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 no. I'm here to like wanting to spread love and positivity and help others navigate the noise that they're going through and get through tough times. But I'm almost 30 years old. My credit score I'm trying to think of like a statistic that would be funny off the top of my head, but not completely give away what it is. Because I know on my past episodes with my boy A Ditz, like we were like, yo, credit score is off the table, off the table. But like my credit score, shit. My hairline, shit. Bank account, still a little slightly negative. Hope Capital One don't close on me. Hey, then we go into T-Mobile, not T-Mobile, Chase, T-Mobile cell phone, Chase kid. Shout out Chase, coming your way, boy. But no, like if I could have all that currently, I'm not gonna say jobless anymore because I got the job. As long as I passed the background check. Fingers crossed. Yellow Deli. The kid ran. The kid ran from Yellow Deli. They caught me. Shout out. By the grace of the higher power and whoever, they didn't want to cuff me up. Caught a popo. But like, I'm not living in hell, but I'm living in a little bit of controlled chaos. But I'm living in this controlled chaos. Um, being mentally ill with bipolar disorder, being homeless, losing parents, being abandoned. Um, if I could still sit here and shed some light of positivity, like, so can you. And you can be positive. Like, it's all about your mindset. Switch your mindset. That's all it is. Switch your damn mindset. Go bet on yourself. Go bet on your damn self. So happy I bet on my damn self. There's been so many times in life where I bet on myself and it hasn't been right. But I know I mentioned this at the last moment, or maybe the last podcast episode. It's like that Mark Cuban, that that viral quote. All you got to do is be right once. And I'm not saying that I'm right yet. It sniffs like it. It sniffs like that steak that you throw on the grill that starts sizzling. Little medium rare you're going for. You get the aroma and the waft of the flames kind of coming off the grill too. Like, it feels like this could be the right city and the right place. But like Marky Mark said, all you got to do is be right once. Just once. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I'm going to keep saying my prayers here and there throughout the day whenever I feel like praying is the right way to go. Haven't made my way back into the church yet. It is on the bucket list of things to do now that I got the job. I can take a little bit of time away from the resources in the job hunt and check out the city a little bit more, get myself a little bit more acclimated now that I know what my salary is. Not going to disclose that either. If you want to know, hit me up. If you don't have my number, then you don't need to know my salary. But we're going to now have some time to kind of get some other things done. And I'm super stoked for that. But all I got to do is be right once. So I am hoping, and my fingers are crossed, that I'm going to get it right this time. Get it right this time. And it's so funny, like, you know that saying, it's like when it rains, it pours. It's like, oh, when it rains, it pours. Any country music fans in the chat? I don't know of any country music fans in the chat. Who sings that song? I think that's Luke Combs. When it rains, it pours. But I'm starting to kind of realize, like, when you work hard and, like, you start to see one or two tiny good results, the tiny good results kind of pile on up. And as I was getting literally back into my buddy's apartment, your bet on yourself will be a lot better than any bet you place on the Cowboys this season. Yo, FJT Trope, yo, F Money, for how highly I speak of you, shame on you for throwing shade on the Dallas Cowboys. Just because Justin Fields and the Jets and Tyrod Taylor and whatever fiasco you have in the quarterback room there will keep you crying for the next, I don't know, 2, 3, 5, 12 years, brother. Don't take out your sorrows and your anger out on me. Hey, no, hey, don't come on now me. You did this to yourself, big dog. You heard of Hammurabi's code, eye for eye? This is what happens. Can't we do like a sports talk episode? That's going to be fun. I can't wait to be trolls in the chat. I'm going to feel like I'm going to have to ban Frank from that chat. I'm going to have to ban Frank from that episode. Also, Frank, I'm sorry for what I did on Instagram, by the way. But bet on yourself, baby. Bet on yourself. Bet on it, bet on it, bet on it, bet on it. Oh, hold up. Sorry, it's the ADHD kicking in a little bit. I don't know. I'm high on life right now. I don't know. Celebrating. They doubted us. They doubted us, baby. They doubted us. They said Zachy couldn't do it. Thank you, F Money. I appreciate you. No, but anyway, as I was coming into my boy Big Mike in Peacock's apartment, Chef P, I think he's chefing up something delicious in the kitchen right now. Um, Someone actually texted me who he's going to be coming on the podcast. And like I said, he was the person who I mentioned last week who I was talking about briefly. Not my boy Little Toaster, but someone else. Little Toaster's coming on next week, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the episode. Super excited to talk about that. I watched my boy Andrew Shit, by the way, on Tubi TV the other day. Hilarious, man. I don't think Judge is here today. I know he was here last week. Better be here next week. Like, it's his episode. If he's not here next week, then I'm going to be a little pissed off about that. Then we're going to have FJT Trope Celeb pop in, you know. Big Mike was going to pop in today, maybe run a little co-host action, run a little two-man, a little, Bosch, LeBron. You know, maybe Peacock would pop down and be Wade, you know. But Big Mike's at the gym, bettering himself, navigating the noise. So shout out Big Mike. But we are going to have a celebratory sud, though, when Big Mike gets home from the gym. I don't know how beneficial that is to the body, but the person who I have coming on this episode, it's pretty big time. I don't want to spoil who it is, but it's it's a professional athlete. I'm not going to tell you the sport or who, but for those of you who like professional sports, it's actually a pretty well-known name. But it's not 100%, so I'm not going to talk too much further on it. But I just received this text message from, my buddy, and he's obviously involved in athletics, and he, is the person who's kind of connecting me with my hopeful person who I'm going to bring on here to the podcast. But it was just funny how, the good vibes kind of came in this afternoon, and then the good vibes kind of flowed in, continued after that. And I've had a smile on my face all damn day. I almost got lost on the Amtrak ride home. I keep saying Amtrak, bro, because I'm the Amtrak king. Shit. Should I change my name to the Amtrak king? No. I kind of want to just go back on the Amtrak. Oh, no. That's what I'll be taking to get back to New York. I'm done flying, by the way. Amtrak only, bro. Amtrak, if you're here, sponsor me, guys. But haven't stopped smiling. Why would I stop smiling, I'm 2 weeks away from starting a job that I have a passion about, and I'm actually going to be able to make a difference. And I don't give a hell about money. Anyone who knows me at this point, not only is my money management piss poor, and that's a topic that we're going to have for another conversation, which is be brutally honest with yourself. But money management is piss poor, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I've always made a shit ton of money, and then, it's because of my bad money management that I pissed it all away. I was an educator, so I did pretty well for myself, and the school I worked at took good care for me. But I grinded and I hustled, and I did summer school, and I put in the hours to kind of make it a buck and make it worthwhile. But it's never been about money. So I know, although it's not teaching and it's not being an educator and it's not directly in the classroom, I know that I'm still going to be able to make a difference. And although some of these children and young adolescents that I work with that may not fully remember or be able to fully internalize and process what I'm doing with them, I know their parents will be forever grateful. And that shit makes me feel good, and that shit makes me tick the right way. So that's kind of where we're at. Keep betting on yourself, yo. Keep fucking doing it. Keep going for it. like in 2 weeks from now, I'm gonna be living the actual dream. Like I was already living the dream, but like how, like, I don't know. Like some of y'all are probably looking at me like, yo, how for real is this dude being? He's being a dork. Like he's saying he's living the dream, but he's homeless and he don't got a job. But um, I don't know. I feel like I'm living the dream a little bit. I do. I got two homies that I call brothers from another mothers. Although one's Puerto Rican and one Presbyterian, but that's besides the point. Like two great homies that are getting me acclimated to the city of Charlotte. Beautiful opportunities, very welcoming city, a warm city. Like how many of y'all in New York? Because I know some of the people watching are from New York. How many of y'all in New York were sweating today walking outside? I was. That, like I said, might also be because of my bad health, my poor dieting habits, and my genetics. But it also had to do with the fact that it was 60 damn degrees and sunny out in Charlotte today. Like, so, although life needed to kind of come together a little bit more, it's coming together. And I had a really lovely conversation with um, someone who I kind of grew up with in high school yesterday, and stay connected in college, SUNY gang, and she was saying how all good things take time. And I know a lot of y'all are like, here we go with another cliche sayings, but it does. So I'm just enjoying the process. I'm literally living in the moment. I'm like the prime cut, perfectly sliced example of why it might be necessary at times to live in the moment. And listen, I might be a little extreme for some of y'all. Like, I'm not saying some of you guys should like take everything a legitimate quarter mile at a time like Dom Toretto should, because, Dom Toretto, is a fictional movie character. And although he's buff and although he's family, exactly, Suave. Um, Dude, one of the most quotable movies too. What was the quote, Swab? It was like money comes and goes, but family's what matters. Something like that. Like, not everyone should live your life like Dom Toretto, but I'm for sure gonna live my life like that because um who knows what tomorrow's gonna bring. Like there's been some morbid things that have happened in my life where my life has literally changed overnight. I'm not gonna get into those specific examples because the vibes are good and the mood is electric right now. But um like we'll talk about the apartment, for example. I was supposed to move into an apartment in Queens, New York, and then 72 hours later I'm searching for shelter. So I do believe that there are benefits to living your life a quarter mile at a time. Or if you don't want to do a quarter mile, do a half mile at a time. But don't have your whole roadmap fully planned out. And this is just my opinion. I'm just speaking through my life experiences and my life virtue. Like I said, there are a million other damn quote unquote podcasters, streamers out there that are trying to relay a positive message. I mean, not all of them might be, bipolar diagnosed, diehard Dallas Cowboy fans, dudes who are addicted to orange juice and massages, but there's a lot of streamers and podcasters out there that are all trying to get across their message and their opinion. Doesn't mean that mine is right, but I do believe that there is some virtue to it. Live your life slowly, but fastly, if that makes sense. As in, like, don't think so far ahead into the future. And that's what I mean by living it slow. But then in that very moment, Put your damn foot on the dang gas and giddy up, buttercup. There was this dude I worked with at my old school. I wish I had a better relationship with him that I developed with him. He made me chuckle. He was like an old soul. And we went out for a couple happy hours, and that was his saying that he used to say to the kids. He would say, "Buckle up, buttercup. You're in for a ride." I guess what a kid would be like misbehaving, or like he was a gym teacher, so it'd be like starting his new unit maybe or whatever. But I don't know. It was just like, yo, buckle up, baby. Like, so take things slow, but in those moments, go fast. Um, and like I said, I do feel like there's some virtue and value to what I'm saying. Like speaking about gambling, I've lost over $100,000 in my life gambling between sports books, casinos, 100K, something light, right? You can buy a damn house with that in Lincoln, Nebraska for 100K. So I know what it's like to bet. And I made a lot of life decisions where I bet wrongfully. I've ruined relationships where I've made decisions and I bet wrongfully. Job opportunities where I bet wrongfully. But I think this time I might have bet and put my chips on the right side of the table. Lucky number is black 22. So I had that feeling that roulette spin was going to be on black 22. And although it wasn't 22, I put a bunch of chips on black, and black still hit. Black 20. Get a fact check. I should memorize the roulette board at this point because I played it so much. But Johnny, welcome, brother. How we living, dog? Nice of you to be here, sir. Always a pleasure having you pop in the chat. I know you're a little late to the party, Johnny, but I got the job, brother. No way! Yo, let's go! Yo, that's fire. Yo, that's hilarious timing. Bro, I literally looked on my phone chat and then popped the hell up, and you did. Bro, that's great, brother. If you feel free, like, letting the chat know what you landed, feel free to write it in the chat. But if you want to keep it private, shoot me a message on the side. But congrats, brother. We'll definitely chop it up. That's some awesome stuff. Sales. What are we selling? What are we selling? What are we selling? Rogaine for my hair? Solar panels? All right. Well, when I get an apartment and I need some solar down here in Charlotte, you're gonna set me up. Good luck with everything, man. We'll definitely talk about it. All right, sir. That's awesome, bro. Congratulations. But vibes are electric. Bet on yourself. Only New York State, brother? Nah. All right. I'll talk to your boss. We'll set something up. That's funny. But foot on the gas, ladies and gentlemen. Foot on the gas, baby. Foot on the gas. For those of you wondering what's in the red Solo cup, it is a Coors Light provided by Mike. Shout out Big Mike. Thank you, sir. Thank you to all the people who didn't give up on the kid. Although it not working out in Charlotte and me maybe like Amtrakking across the United States of America. X-Men, yeah, there we go, baby. Yes, sir. Second round. Yup. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're doing this trend again? I love that. I love that. I love that. Any more rounds in the chat for Mike? Frank, you still here? Can we get a third round on Mike? Yep, there we go. Yes, sir. Right on a moment's cue. Anyone else in the chat? We getting a fourth round on Mike tonight? It was a celebratory for Zach getting the job. But no, it's just been like a very grateful process, man. And like it's just been, what was I saying? Oh, although it would have been great. Fourth round still on Angel Di Maria. Di Maria. Yo, how crazy was that nacho thing last week? I was going to talk about that at the end of this episode. But it would have been hilarious if I know there's more than 4 or 5 of y'all in here. Come on, we get more rounds in the chat. Come on now, rounds in the chat, rounds in the chat. Or are there people in here still trying to help Mike's wallet? But it would have been great content to see Zach, the cross-country crusader, the cross-country kid, posting content, being on the Amtrak, riding his ass across the United States of America. But it looks like we might have found a home here. And just because I got the job doesn't mean, like, it's over. Like, job is not finished. Like, as, the great late Cobain once said, job ain't done. But I wouldn't be here if it weren't for a bunch of people like, Gallo, who's here with Dan C watching in the background, maybe making a little chicken quesadilla in the kitchen while he listens on the speakers, or he got it up on the screen. F Money, Frank's in the chat. Suave always been, a supporter for the pod since day one. And then, like, there's just such a long list of people. Like, I got out of the job today. My boy Demo calls me immediately. People are hitting me up like off the rip, bro. The job update, the job update, the job update. And he really doesn't cook, G. All right, the moment I get off the pod tonight, I'm going to be having a word with him. I'll be doing it too, Gallo. Like, the moment I click this red end button, I'm going upstairs. I'm linking up with Big Mike. And you know what? Actually, I might be calling his ass because me and Big Mike got to go food shopping. So he might be getting a little bit of a phone call from me. Tell him to have his ringer on, all right? G, unbelievable. Wish he'd cook. Just, man of the house, Dan. You gotta cook sometime. Take some pride and go in the kitchen, brother. My God. Love you, though, Danny boy. My boy Demo was asking about the job. I'm sure there were a lot of people that didn't want me to get the job, but guess what? I did. And guess what? If this job doesn't work out, we go get another one. But I'm super excited about this one because it's not like a job that I don't have a passion in, It's a job that I have, heart in, admiration in. Damn. Thank God I have the angle like this because the hat looks like shit if I was sitting like this. But also, the shirt, navigating the noise. Gonna have to do some merch soon, I think, once I get a job maybe, and pay off the credit card companies. But we'll work on that, when we get there. In the chat, if you get a shirt, let me know. And no, Frank, I'm not putting a Jets logo on any of the shirts because you texted me that the other day, and I was like, that's not happening. Like, there will be no New York Jets related merch with Navigating the Noise. Sorry, sir. But I don't know. I feel electric right now, everyone. I don't know. I feel like I'm glowing. I don't know. I'm smiling ear to ear. So many people I can thank. You know what I do want to thank, though? I want to thank every single person who doubted me. I'm going to name drop y'all. But everyone who doubted me, thank you. Because like I said, like, going back to the whole life is a gamble, there are a bunch of people who made a choice to gamble against me throughout this whole process. Like, they did. Like, when this whole process went down, there were a couple people, not even a couple, nice handful, that were like, nah, not getting Zach's back in this one. And I just want to say thank you to those people. Because although this podcast is for spreading love and positivity, which it is, I wouldn't have made it to this point, and I wouldn't continue to be able to spread the love and positivity and the good vibes that I hopefully am doing if it weren't for those haters that kind of gave me that little bit of fuck you that I have. And I spoke about this on a couple episodes ago when Big Mike was hosting. The nicest people in life, it's like that Matthew McConaughey quote. It's like a nice guy versus good man. No one wants to be the nice guy. And I used to be the nice guy, but now I'm a good man. The nice guy is the people pleaser and the one that doesn't have the standards. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go check my Instagram reel because I repost that one specific reel by my boy Matty M like once or twice a week. But there's no point on being a nice guy because then people take advantage of your kindness and sincerity. And overall, Matthew just does a great job in that podcast episode that he's on talking about it. And I could be the most sincere person in the world, but I need to have a little bit of fuck you in me to be a good guy and not a nice man, or a good man and not a nice guy. Gotta be a good man and not a nice guy. So for those haters, I'm not saying fuck you. I'm saying thank you for giving me the fuck you to keep going. Because remember, it's been, if I pull up my handy dandy calendar here, I want everyone to think about this. For those of you who are watching live, and for those of you who've had a pretty cool